Hi everyone, welcome along to this next lesson. So in each of the modules that you're covering as part of this course, we're going to have an informal chat between me and my good friend Philip. And what we're going to do in these conversations is just simply, I guess, earth all of the stuff we've talked about in some kind of real world experience. So these will be just our take on the subjects that we've covered for your benefit, hopefully to give that kind of context and add a little bit of colour to the lessons that you're going through. So this is pretty much the last bit that you hear from me in podcast mode, and I'm going to hand over to Philip, who's going to be doing most of the questioning and grilling of me in the rest of these lessons. So I hope you find them useful, and yeah, on we go.
And in terms of an introduction to me, so I met Joel, I don't know what it was, 6 or 7 years ago now maybe, at the church that we both go to on a Sunday morning, and I was just getting into multi-sport at the time, and people were like, you should speak to Joel, and so I did speak to Joel, and over the years I've developed in my multi-sport, kind of training and races, and Joel's been really influential through that as a friend and helping me, and then even working as my coach for a little bit earlier this year, and I've been fortunate enough to get to a couple of world champs in my age group for duathlon, because my swimming is not so great. So I'm here to ask some questions, and hopefully kind of we can get a bit of a sense behind the scenes in terms of what Joel's done as an athlete and a coach that's led to his developing this course and all the wisdom that we're all going to benefit from.
That's the plan. Wisdom,
yeah, and the joy of sport and kind of
and all of that stuff. Yeah. Perform better, love it more, all of that.
Exactly. So this course is all about event preparation. What was your first race experience, and how was your preparation for that?
Well, I'll take you back to, the first multi-sport race I did was the British University Championships, and I think it was 2004, and I have two overriding memories. So the first one is that we all had to sit on poolside. It was a pool-based triathlon. We had to shuffle along as one person went in at a time, and it was just like this shuffle of doom into this, I have no idea what's going to happen here, just fear, amygdala just on fire, fight or flight response, I don't even know why I'm here. I only came along to do it because a friend asked me. I've never done a triathlon before. None of this feels normal, or none of it was a pleasurable experience at all.
And were you ordered by predicted times, or was it just kind of random?
Yes, but even that, I don't know what time I'm going to swim for 750 metres. I've never swum 750 metres before, and what am I wearing? What is this tri-suit? I've never just been only dressed in lycra before. I'm at uni, right? The girls around, it's bad. It's bad, Philip. So the overriding sense is just fear and stress, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
Exactly. What more could you want from a lovely Saturday afternoon? The other thing I remember is, so I came off the bike leg, so into start the run, into transition, never done this before, obviously, borrowed a bike, got off the bike, immediately front wheel falls out, and I realised I haven't done up the quick release at any point. So I've ridden the entire thing with the quick release undone.
Sheesh.
Because I've not done any bike checks, because why would I do a bike check? I don't know to do a bike check.
So you're actually quite fortunate you got to transition.
So I was fortunate I got to transition, exactly. Maybe it just undid in the last phases, but anyways, my point is, not that I was an absolutely abysmal triathlete, although I was, not that I was disorganised, but it was the impact on just not having a plan, not having any strategy for how to approach this thing, just literally winging it, and the amount of completely unnecessary sort of stress and worry and anxiety and fear that caused. So at the end of it, I felt really good because I'd overcome a really big thing.
Yeah.
But that thing didn't need to be as big. And also, I was 20 odd at the time, so I had tons of capacity to kind of absorb that stress. But now we're 40s with family and I've got responsibilities. I can't spend that much nervous energy, worry and emotion on sport. I need sport to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
So I guess I spent the last 20 years or whatever refining a process and having a whole toolkit of things that can mean that instead of that heightened level of stress, I can actually rock up at an event and go, this is really great. I really enjoy it. I know why I'm here, and still perform really, really well. And I guess so this course is about sharing that with other people so they have that toolkit to draw from as well.
And so from that first experience
Mhm.
to where you are now,
Yeah.
are there any particular events along the way where you feel like you just started to nail something in a kind of a better way?
Yeah, I think a lot of the age group champs probably were the things that forced me to do this better. Because I'm definitely someone, and I talk about this on the course, I'm someone who needs a reason. So I can't just kind of get up and really motivated at, races that are smaller or in some sense in my mind insignificant. I use them as training races, they definitely have a value. But when I really put all the pieces together is in those bigger races. So, and also I did a couple of domestic elite races as well. And in some of the bigger things like the Ironman or half Ironman races that I've done where you just can't mess about with it because it's such a big challenge. It's those like bigger moments in sport that have forced me to go, I don't want to mess this up. What do I need to do? And so then I've kind of, I guess, just gone into myself and my process and thought, okay, what can I learn? And obviously this as well, this is off the back of, a degree in sports science and a master's degree in nutrition and numerous coaching qualifications and working as a coach. So then the big thing is having to learn processes to help other athletes to cope with whatever they're going through. So some of the stuff that's in the course isn't necessarily drawn from my experience, it's drawn from the experience of helping other people through certain things and knowing what works for them and helps them. And that's why we've got interviews with other athletes on the course as well. So I suppose it's those pinch points where you're really kind of called to question, okay, what do I need to do to make sure I make the most of this? They've been really fundamental in my, I guess, transformation from car crash multi-sporter to all right.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, Joel's probably bragged about this already, but obviously world champion aquathlete in Ibiza. And it was really great. So I was in Ibiza for the World Championship at the same time, and we met up the night before and we had a drink, soft drinks the night before, me racing anyway, and Joel was the next day. And you were at such peace at that moment. What brings you that peace, like 2 days out of such a big race? You hadn't been world champion before. There was you had quite a lot of pressure on yourself to deliver and become world champion. But you were pretty mellow at that point. What are the tricks that mean that you were mellow at that point?
I guess this is the stuff that's unpacked in the course, and so it's all of those experiences, and there are something like 60 odd lessons across this entire course, and it's the combination of all of those, and the combination of doing those across 20 years that started to get me to the point where I felt so prepared and so calm and so aware of exactly why I was there and exactly what I needed to do. So it's this course, it's this process that brought that sense of calm. And I think in other conversations and in other things on the course, I'll speak about those things a little bit more. But it was generally just that's the value of all of this process. And it's not that people have to do this whole thing for every race all the time. It's not that I have to do it even for the biggest event. They don't have to do all of this, but it's just a toolkit of stuff that gave me that sense of peace and calm. And this is the thing. Ultimately, that was the best performance I ever did and the most enjoyable race I ever did. And that's where I can really sit in the firm knowledge that all of this isn't just to perform better and it isn't just to love the sport more, both of which are fine in their own right. You can have both. And I don't see many coaches talking about that. I hear a lot about, suffering when it comes to performance sport and it has to hurt. And then you hear like, okay, yeah, if you want to go and do, what's the word, like non-competitive sport or whatever, yeah, then you can love it, but you don't get the message that the two are united, and I think they are.
Yeah. I always joke with anyone at any level who's going to go and do a run or a race or something that I know, whether it's even my upstairs neighbour, it's just like smile, it's more aerodynamic. Yeah. It's like just as a kind of a concept of, just enjoy it. That's why we do it. Ultimately, if, unless you're an absolute elite earning your money from it, then the enjoyment's got to be a key part.
Yeah, it has, absolutely. And so that's the central theme that runs through all the lessons of all the modules of all of this course. And I hope that comes across because that's what it's about. Love the sport, perform better.